Fresh from the bill that the Kim and I and the trust team worked on for around 4 months, all told, of the tax system reform. We also have been working on, at various stages, the Sovereignty Act. Now, some people have said these two bills plus the tax bill have been put in previous, and yes, it has. But what is different this time is there is funding to support those bills and the input from the trust that goes way beyond the previous bills. People need to understand that. Now, below is the text of H.R.204, and this plays into the sovereignty letter that Kim delivered to Mr. Trump directly, not Kim herself, she can't travel. That was dated January the 27th, 2018, and declared by Kim and the Trust America sovereign, as Kim is the master sovereign on the planet. That's how it works. The trustee, which everyone in THI knows was Marduk, had the ability to declare sovereignty and also take it away, and so does Kim. Now, the difference is with Kim is that all other sovereigns were sub-sovereigns below the trustee. Kim's given each country sovereignty first that is equal to Kim's level, not sub and below. So the power is then shared, and the countries have to become sovereign first before the people. If you start declaring people sovereign, some of them with egos the size of Wilcox will go right to the head and declare that they're the master sovereign and they own the whole country, a bit like some of the royals. So that's why sovereignty to the country first, and then once all that is achieved to the 209 countries, then the next stage is sovereignty for the people. Now, this is something else that I'm sure you've already started making viral, like the tax reform that's really flying around the internet now. And I think people who are new to the show will now start to realise that things that we've stated in the shows in the past are now starting to make the public, and the American sovereignty being one of them. Now, Section 1, short title, this act may be cited as American Sovereignty Restoration Act of 2019. Section 2, the repeal of the United Nations Participation Act of 1945. Section A, repeal the United States Participation Act of 1945 under Public Law 79 through 264, 22 USC 287 is repealed. B, termination of membership in the United Nations, and the President shall terminate all membership by the United States in the United Nations. It's not America that's in it, it's the United States. And in any organisation, specialised agency, commission or other formally affiliated body of the United Nations. C, closure of the United States mission to the United Nations. And the United States mission to the United Nations is closed. Any remaining functions of such office shall not be carried out. Now, the gist of this is the split from the United States agreement, which, like I said, we are not the United States, is a stage 1 effort. More stages to that will be delivered after we step out of that agreement. Section 3, repeal of United Nations Headquarters Agreement Act. Subsection A, repeal the United Nations Headquarters Agreement Act, Public Law 80 through 357 is repealed. B, withdrawal. The United States withdraws from the agreement between the United States of America, different title, and the United Nations regarding the headquarters of the United Nations, signed at Lake Success, New York on June 26, 1947, which was brought into effect by the United Nations Headquarters Agreement Act. What this signifies is a potential closure altogether and a removal of the UN headquarters in New York and off our soil completely. Section 4. United States assessed and voluntary contributions to the United Nations. No funds are authorized to be appropriated or otherwise made available or assessed for voluntary contributions of the United States to the United Nations or any organization, specialized agency, commission, or other formally affiliated body of the United Nations, except that funds may be appropriated to facilitate termination of United States membership and withdrawal of the United States personnel and equipment in accordance with Sections 2 and 3 respectively. Upon termination of United States membership, no payments shall be made to the United Nations or any organisation, specialised agency, commission or other formally affiliated body of the United Nations, out of any funds appropriated prior to such termination or out of any other funds available for such purposes. So what essentially this means is all funds, slush funds or otherwise, will be removed. This will include UNESCO, the IMF and also the World Bank, because though those three are all affiliated with the UN. So no more stealing by the IMF or the World Bank like they've done many times. Yes, you, Miss Hudis. Section 5, United States Peacekeeping Operations. Oh my. Section A, Termination. No funds are authorized to be appropriated or otherwise made available for any United States contribution to any United Nations military or peacekeeping operation or force. Section B, terminations of United States participation in United Nations peacekeeping operations. No funds may be obligated or expended to support the participation of any member of the armed forces of the United States as part of any United Nations military or peacekeeping operation or force. No member of the armed forces of the United States may serve under the command of the United Nations. So essentially, all our military will no longer work for the United Nations ever again. Big step. Remember, Rothschilds controlled the UN. They still think they do, but it's illusion. So this will be a big move for the military. They will no longer take part in so-called UN peacekeeping. The UN has no peacekeepers. They never did. All those so-called peacekeepers are only mercenaries that have raped, pillaged and committed genocide in various countries around the world, particularly in Africa. And this would end this country's contribution to that. Section 6, Withdrawal of United Nations presence in facilities of the government of the United States and repeal of diplomatic immunity. Section A, Withdrawal from all United States government property. The United Nations, including any organisation, specialised agency, commission or other formally affiliated body of the United Nations, may not occupy or use any property or facility of the United States government. In other words, you're being thrown off our soil altogether. B, diplomatic immunity. No officer or employee of the United Nations or their affiliated bodies or any representative, officer or employee of any mission to the United Nations of any foreign government shall be entitled to enjoy the privileges and immunities of the Vienna Convention. For those who don't know, Vienna is where the United States was formed, the original United States of Europe, not America. Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of April 18, 1961. Nor may any such privileges and immunities be extended to any such individual. The privileges, exemptions and immunities provided for in the International Organizations Immunities Act of December 29, 1945, or in any agreement or treaty which the UN are not allowed to partake in anymore because Kim deleted their sovereignty, to which the United States is a party, including the agreement entitled Agreement between the United Nations and the United States of America regarding the headquarters of the United Nations, which was signed on June 26, 1947. and also the Convention of Privileges and Immunities of the United Nations entered into force with respect to the United States on April 29, 1970. Also shall not apply to the United Nations or any of their affiliated bodies, and that includes ambassadors as well. It removes all UN officers off our soil, all their ambassadors, all their employees within America, and it also removes their immunity to the law that they currently hold. That's Section 6. Section 7, repeal of the United States membership and participation in the United Nations educational, that's a laugh, scientific and cultural organisation, in other words, branding companies. I'll explain more about that later. Joint resolution entitled A Joint Resolution Providing for Membership and Participation by the United States in the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation and authorising any appropriation therefore, which was approved in July of 1946. And that would be repealed. And in essence, the gist of this section is it removes us from the dodgy black budget research programs, educational and scientific, and also the propaganda programs, cultural organisation, which is implemented via the UN. Section 8, repeal of United Nations Environment Programme Participation Act of 1973. The United States Environment Programme Participation Act of 1973 would be repealed. Think the Paris Climate Accord, not a treaty, because the UN can't sign treaties anymore, which is why the name was changed, or other fake climate change programs. This would end America's participation in that BS. Section 9, repeal of the United States participation in the World Health Organization. The joint resolution providing for membership and participation by the United States in the World Health Organization and authorizing an appropriation therefore, which was approved in June the 14th, 1948, would be repealed. And the gist of this ends our participation of global genocide. The World Health Organization is a misnomer. It is they, with their black budget research programs from Section 7, who created most, if not all, known diseases on the planet, including specific genetic diseases, and then forced vaccines and pharmaceuticals of death on people globally. Ebola, AIDS, etc., H1N1, Spanish flu, all came from the World Health Organization. And yes, I know that Spanish flu was before this signed off, or this organization came to the public eye, so to speak. But it's the same people. Eugenics, that's where they come from, World Health Organization. So this would end America's participation with the World Health Organization and our funding of it. Section 10, repeal of involvement in United Nations conventions and agreements. Effective on the date of enactment of this Act, the United States will end any participation in any conventions and agreements with the United Nations and any organisation, specialised agencies, commissions or other formally affiliated bodies of the United Nations. Any remaining functions of such conventions and agreements shall not be carried out. So all these commission reports and studies and all that, we will no longer take part in any of them, including the yearly United Nations Convention, where a group of people talk bollocks and achieve nothing, essentially, and that's about it. Section 11, re-employment with United States government after service with an international organisation. Nothing in this Act shall be construed to affect the rights of employees under subchapter the 4th of Chapter 35 of Title 5 United States Code relating to re-employment after service with an international organisation. That means certain US ambassadors working under the UN can be transferred to the government, American government, and not be hindered. So, notification. Effective on the date of enactment of this Act, the Secretary of State shall notify the United Nations and any organisation, specialised agencies, commissions or other formally affiliated bodies of the United Nations of the provision of this Act. And Section 13, effective date, except as otherwise provided, this Act and the amendments made by this Act shall take effect on the date that is 2 years after the date of the enactment of this Act. That's how long it takes to the wheels of bureaucracy. People will say, well, 2 years is a long time. Well, it goes over rather quickly. This show's been going nearly 3 years now. We're heading 2 3/4 years, and that's kind of flown over. There's a lot of details that need to be worked out. It's the cause and effect. You have to remove the obstacles in your way, of which there are several obstacles in just removing the UN. You have to go through this treaty and this agreement and cancel this and cancel that, and it does take time. And I appreciate most people don't like the time it takes, but you have to understand the depth of what is going on here. You literally have no idea. It's not a case of just sign this piece of paper or get rid of this group or get rid of that group. The rabbit holes go far deeper than anyone realises, and then you don't realise there's a load of tentacles that go off the rabbit holes that were beyond comprehension. But we have made extraordinary strides, particularly in this country. This is a big act. I covered what sovereignty, I did a piece, I think it was in November or early December, what sovereignty means for this country. It changes everything. Well, you can't change everything overnight. It does take time. Maybe if they used the people of the trust in more positions, then things would move a lot quicker than the government wheels, so to speak. But then the government's dealing with a lot of clowns as well, and lobbyists and core pirates and dragon groups and all kinds of other factions, and it does take time, but you can see the progress. We are making progress. Their desperation shows it all.